Oh Lord, we need your word.
Second Samuel, and we're going to chapter 23, and we're going to begin our reading at verse 11. And after him was Shammah, the son of Agee the Hararite. Philistines had gathered together into a troop where there was a piece of ground full of lentils. So the people fled from the Philistines. But he stationed himself in the middle of the field, defended it, and killed the Philistines. So the Lord brought about a great victory. May God have the blessing to the readers here and faithful doers of his holy and righteous word. I want to preach from this subject, a winning mentality. A winning mentality. Winning mentality in the biblical sense is characterized by a spiritual determination to overcome all spiritual opposition. Let me share with you, church, that within the aspect of your spiritual life, there's going to be spiritual conflict. There's opposition that don't want you to succeed. There's opposition that don't want you to be everything that God wants you to do. Now, this opposition is not just in the attack of the devil, but we have to overcome folk with manipulative agendas. We got to overcome folk who fake. Really don't mean us no good. They set out to use us. They take from you. They don't never want to give nothing back to you. All they do is find some fault in you, criticize you, whatever your dreams are, whatever your goals are. They always got something negative to say about it. You can be doing something wonderful and they'll still find something to complain about. So you got to be careful because the enemy is always trying to devour you. We have to deal with trauma in life. We got to deal with stress. We got to deal with overwhelming pain and situations that sometimes pop up out of nowhere, things we didn't expect. But the resolution to spiritual conflict is a winning mentality. Against all of the opposition, it's all about how you respond. It's sad to announce that sometimes God's people live with a defeated mentality. Today, I want to dig into your psyche. I want to attempt to revise your mentality to understand that you're already a winner. God has left it on record that we're more than conquerors. We already have victory over the attacks of the enemy. When the enemy comes in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord will build up a standard against it. No weapon formed against us shall prosper. Even those with a manipulative and lying tongue won't be able to stand against the authority that God has already placed in your life. That's how come folk talk about you and then you end up gaining victory anyhow, because it's not about what they say, it's about who God is in you. And so you don't need to concern yourself with people who don't know how to accept the victory that's already in you. So you got to be in this mindset that the enemy is going to attack, but we don't have to concern ourselves with just how the enemy will attack. We mainly need to concern ourselves with how we respond. All right. Because the enemy knows we can win. He just hopes we get too mentally frustrated to achieve the victory. Whatever is going on, whether God allows it or whether the enemy is putting it on you, what the devil wants is for that to frustrate you to the point that you stop trusting God. Somebody listening to me is so frustrated that you done got so caught up in what you're frustrated about and forgot you got victory already. You spent the last few days in complaining mode instead of conquering mode. But the issue you got, it's not the problem. The issue you got is your response to the problem. You fed up with some stuff in your life. You frustrated, and you're so frustrated that you can't win over whatever you're frustrated about. You're so frustrated, you can't even see that the hand of God is already with you. If he brought you this far, don't you know that he didn't bring you this far just to turn around and leave you now? The enemy wants you to stay so frustrated that you don't realize that all you got to do is remember that you already got victory. Got to be careful with this, because when you start thinking about what you're thinking about, if you ain't never thinking about nothing positive but always thinking about something negative and always thinking the worst, the enemy going to keep hold of that thought, and then the enemy going to use that thought to overwhelm you, and before you know it, you're going to spend your days in misery when God is trying to show you that you already got victory. Where is your mentality? What has a hold on your mentality? Who has a hold on your mentality? How are you determining to deal with whatever it is you have to deal with? Are you going to deal with it based on what somebody else's opinion might be? Are you going to deal with it based on culture? Are you going to deal with it based on what you read in a magazine? Are you going to deal with it based on your favorite sitcom? Are you going to deal with it based on what you've heard somebody else did? It may have worked for them. But does that mean that's the way God wants you? Somebody had the same surgery you had. Somebody went through the same financial struggles that you did. Somebody dealing with the same marital problems that you are. You ain't the only one who got children who tripping. You ain't the only one who sometimes have to deal with a nagging and definite, painful situation in your body. You ain't the only one dealing with bad news from the doctor. You ain't the only one dealing with stuff going on at work that just shock you. Folks just going plumb crazy. You go to work today and it look like everything done changed. You ain't the only one who dealing with stuff. It's just about how you deal with it. Somebody dealing with what you dealing with but got too much doubt to overcome. But based on your mentality, you can overcome. You can win. You just have to have a winning mentality. Today is Super Bowl Sunday. You got two teams that had a winning season, and today one of those teams is going to achieve the total victory, and the other team is going to lose. But I dare to advise somebody that the team that loses still ain't lost. Yeah. Because they still got a winning mentality. Yeah. Can I preach it to you like I want to preach it? They wanted to win. They just came up short in the moment. You think just because something didn't work the way you wanted it to work that you've already failed. I'm going to preach it like I want to preach it. The more things don't go your way, the more you mentally fade into a pattern of defeat, as if that's the only way victory comes to you. Sometimes victory ain't the score on the scoreboard. Sometimes victory is how you survive even after the battle has been fought. Y'all ain't going to say nothing. It ain't just about the moment. It's about how you respond to the moment. Spiritual winning is the manifestation of a series of victories and not just one victory. So you got to get this. There may be times in life where you're going to go through daily challenges, but Jackie, if you win every day, guess what? You're a winner. Y'all ain't going to say nothing. I want to say it again, lady. Your spiritual winning train ain't about one thing. It's about every day. Monday, you wake up, the devil trying something, but you won Monday. Tuesday, you wake up, the enemy trying something, but you won Tuesday. Wednesday, you go to work and the enemy trying, but you won Wednesday. Thursday, the children start acting, but you won Thursday. Friday, you went to the doctor, and the doctor said, but you won Friday. Saturday, you were so weary in your body that you didn't think you'd make, but you won Saturday. Sunday, you had to get, but you won. All I'm saying is if you're here today, you must have won all week long. Must have won all week. So a winning mentality for somebody listening to me, you have to understand that you may feel defeated in certain areas of your life. It may seem like a lot is happening. It may seem like it's too hard to handle, but if you got a winning mentality, you keep going. Because your victory today is more important than what you worry yourself about from yesterday. And allow me to say this, we're introduced in the text to a man named Shalom. He was was one of the mighty men of valor, one of David's elite fighters. He gets his own portion of scripture because of his winning mentality. The text says that he was in the middle of a bad situation. How many times have you found yourself in the middle of a tough situation? In the middle of a financial crisis? In the middle of a family crisis? In the middle of a health crisis? In the middle of a stressful set of circumstances that on the surface it just don't look like you're going to ever be able to overcome. In the middle of a struggle that you really ain't got words to explain. What will you do? What's on your mind? What are you thinking while you're going through? I want to encourage somebody right now to take a look inside your head. I know it's tripped out in there. I know I probably shouldn't have told you to do that without giving you some prerequisites. Before you go in there, brace yourself. Don't just go in there without bracing yourself, because you're going to find some stuff going on in there that you blaming other folks for. And it ain't nobody's fault but yours. It's about your response. I want you to go in there, and I want you to see how many times you doubted God just last week. I want you to go in there, and I want you to count the number of times God has said to you, don't worry about it, but you worried anyway. I'm just talking. I ain't trying to make nobody upset. I want you to go in there, and I need you to understand that it's up to you now to have a winning mentality. With a winning mentality, we develop, Brother Bruce, a faith protocol posture. All right, in the text, the Philistines had got an army around the ground of lentil. Lentil means field of peas, crop, agriculture. The enemy had come into Israelite territory to raid their food supply. When the Philistines showed up, the Bible says that the Israelite troops broke him. They fled. Yeah. But the Bible, Bruce, says that Shammah went into a faith protocol posture. Michelle, the Bible says that he stood there and said, and watch this, Elder Little, he didn't run from the struggle, even though he found himself physically standing by himself. Oh, I hope I just caught some of y'all up. What do you do when folk give up on you? Be advised, Lulu, that sometimes you're going to find yourself left in the middle of a bad situation, feeling like you're standing all by yourself. Because some people, even your family, they can't handle what you're dealing with. They can't deal with what you're dealing with. Some people mean well, Earl, but they can't handle what you're dealing with. That's how come you can't depend on folk. Y'all don't miss this. That's how come you got too many folk that you depended on that can't do nothing for you when the struggle comes. And so this is why, Brother Corey, Sister Winston, y'all can't have too many folk peeping out what y'all getting ready to do. You can't have too many folk involved in your vision, Sister Lacey, because those folk ain't going to stand with you when the enemy comes. Y'all ain't saying nothing. You can't have too many folk that you share your vision with. You can't give your relationship information to certain folk. You can't tell everybody that you're getting ready to open a business. You can't tell everybody that you're getting ready to give your marriage a second chance. You can't tell everybody that you're about to make a faith move, because some of them ain't going to stick around when the struggle comes. They're not going to be able to handle what you're dealing with. They're scared. You got too many scary folks in your circle. All right. Yeah, the people you can't pray for you ain't powerful enough. Stop just telling anybody to pray for you. You know she was scared last month. What you asking her to pray with you for? She was having a fit last week, and you gonna call her and say, pray for me. You got to be careful about who you lean on. Because sometimes when the enemy comes to attack you, everybody around you gonna run. It's the same trade that you ain't got nobody who is standing there with you and say, I'm going to fight with you. I'm going to stand with you. But when you got a winning mentality like Shema had, Shema said, I see everybody that start running, everybody that fled. They coming to attack our agriculture. They coming to take my possession, and I ain't going to stand for it. Y'all gonna have to get this. Y'all got to get this, because you can't be upset because folk can't stand with you. You got to understand that in order for you to win, everything in your life that's less than faith got to go. That means some of them folk around you, you got to have the winning mentality to say, I don't want you in this particular. I love you, but I can't share this one with you. There's some things that you got to be able to understand. Now comes the interesting dynamic that you got to reckon with in your life. Because whenever you feel you're standing alone in the midst of a tough situation, the way you respond has to be with faith posture. Got to be able to say, no matter what, I'm going to stand here even when the unexpected happens. Too many of us run in the face of adversity. Leave our faith with nothing to do. Just take off running and you run off and leave your faith. And your faith say, hold up. Hold up. Come on back here. Get me, take me. And you just run it. You got to understand, when you develop a faith posture, you don't always have to know all the answers. When you develop a faith posture, you don't even have to understand what God getting ready to do. All you know is that you ain't running from the struggle. You don't know what God gonna do. You don't know how he gonna do it, but you stand in faith because you believe God is able. Folk with a faith posture understand that God might not always show you every victory detail up front, but in faith, you already got to know that God got to be up to something. I don't know how he gonna do it. I don't know how this gonna work out. I don't know what he gonna do, but I got to believe that I'm gonna be all right. That's how come some of this new day stuff don't worry you. You see, some of these millennials and these Gen Z people, they can't handle this little stuff going on. They got a roof over their head and they got all kinds of stuff, but they complaining, talking about they ain't got nothing to eat and the cupboard full of food. No, you ought to talk to grandma and them. I'm talking about when they really can hardly have nothing to eat. They survived because they had faith. They didn't have to lean on technology. They didn't have to lean on smartphone. They may not have had all this technology. They were rolling around in old cars and dealing with stuff in an old way. But how come they living longer? These new day folks can't handle nothing. But when you got a faith posture, you don't worry about what's going on around you. When you got a winning mentality, you already know that God got to be up to something. With a winning mentality, not only do we develop a faith protocol posture, but with a winning mentality, we can also defend God's predestined promises. Lady Angel, this is good because whatever God promised you, you will have to defend it. In the text, we learned that Shammah defended his territory. Lady Angel, you belong to me and I'll defend you at all costs because you're my promise. And I don't care what the enemy try to do to disrupt that promise. I got to stand in defense of that promise. And so, church, whatever God promised you, you got to refuse to let the enemy take what rightfully belongs to you. You just let him come in there and take your children. You just let him come in there and worry you to death. You just let him come in and do whatever he will. When you going to take a stand and say, God promised me when my child was in the mother's womb that my child was going to be successful. I prayed and I asked God to bless this child. I prayed and I asked God to keep his hand on this child. And just because the enemy got his hands out trying to destroy him, I'm going to defend what I know God promised. Y'all gotta defend y'all got to defend what you know God promised. Please be seated. You got to refuse to let the enemy take your mind. You got to refuse to let the enemy take your joy. You got to refuse to let the enemy take your peace of mind. You got to refuse to let the enemy take your thought process. You got to be able to say, wait a minute, God promised me that he was going to be with me. He promised me that I was going to be in a certain place. He promised me that I was going to accomplish some certain things. So watch this. If God promised you something that you ain't accomplished yet, but you know he promised that you were going to accomplish it, why you letting the enemy disrupt you in a moment where you know you ain't seen the revelation of God's promise manifest yet? So now you got to defend and tell the enemy, I don't know what you think you're doing. I don't know where you think you're going with this, but my God is a promise keeper. Problem many of us have is that we never expected to see anything other than the promise. Ooh. We didn't expect that the promise was going to come with some struggle. We didn't know we was going to have some problems with the promise. We didn't expect that. That's how come we get so bent out of shape when it looks like stuff's not working. But the reality is sometimes your promise comes with a problem that's working for you. You didn't expect to have to struggle like this. You done had struggles before, but not like this. You done been sick before. but not like this. You done been tested with your marriage before. I know you a trip sometime this week. I know you clown sometime this week, but this one, not like this. You done dealt with family drama before, but not like this. That girl said what? That girl raised up at me. Not like this. You had to fight before, but never like this. Seems like you're in several fights at one time, trying to defend your promise, fighting for your family, fighting for your health, fighting for your overall well-being, fighting for your joy, fighting for your peace, fighting for every sense of hope that you know God gave you. There's some obstacles in your life, but you keep on fighting because you're defending the predestined promise. Maybe some of you listening to me have run into some roadblocks. The bank said they ain't giving no loans, not in this season. Job said they ain't promoting nobody, not in this season.
All right, Bishop.
You tried everything you can to be healthy, but the doctor said ain't nothing you're doing changing the situation. And so now you got these obstacles and you got these roadblocks and now you got to have a winning mentality and you got to defend what you know God promised. Yes. Because winning is not just about getting to the promise, it's about defending the promise when it ain't happened yet. See, it ain't just about getting a new job, it's about defending the promise of the new job. It may not have happened yet, but you ain't gonna let the enemy make you doubt, because while you jobless, God still provides. You stand in defense of the promise and you don't change your mind just because it looks like you got a few financial problems, but watch what God does. If you defend the promise, there's a change coming for your family, there's a change coming for your health, there's a change coming in everything God already promised. He's waiting on you to defend it. Even if you ain't got it yet, God want to know, do you still believe it? If you still believe it, you don't act like you ain't gonna get it. You just act like you ain't got it yet. There's a difference. Y'all gotta pay attention. See, if you act like you ain't gonna get it, you start walking around in sorrow. But if you act like you just ain't got it yet, that's a winning mentality. You say, I already know the house coming, it just ain't got here yet. I already know my children gonna be delivered, it just ain't happened yet. Whatever God doing, the job. I know it's coming. It just ain't happened yet. And so I stand in defense of the promise. I might have to live in an apartment for a few more years longer, but I know the house coming. I may have to catch a Uber, ride a bike, big wheel or a wagon, but I know the car coming. I may have to cough. I may have to be in pain just a few days longer, but I still believe that my healing coming. I submit that I got a right to defend every promise that I believe God made to me. Is there anybody here who believes that if God said it, that settles it? I said, is there anybody here who believes that if God said it, that settles it? Because if it's yours, it's yours. It may feel like you're at the worst possible place, but joy is already yours. Victory is already yours. You shall overcome stress and depression. God gonna make a way in the impossible places. Does anybody believe God can do it? Somebody shout, do it, God. Do it. Do it, God. Finally today, I submit that with a winning mentality, not only do we develop a faith protocol posture, not only can we defend God's predestined promises, but with a winning mentality, we know to depend on God's powerful presence. And the text says that Shammah killed the enemy. And through it all, God brought a great victory. So notice in the text that although it looked like Shammah was standing in the middle of the problem by himself, it was just physical loneliness. Because spiritually, God was there all alone. Because the text reveals that the Lord brought a great victory. Not just a simple victory. But we got to deal with the word great. It's a magnified victory. It's a concept where you understand God didn't just do the simple to bring you out. But when God brought you out, he gave you more than you even thought. Y'all ain't saying that. Y'all gonna act like y'all knew y'all was gonna make that much money. Y'all gonna act like y'all knew the house was gonna look that good. Y'all gonna act like y'all knew when God brought you through it that the outcome was gonna be as well as sometimes God shocked you on the back end, because when he get through blessing you, when he get through giving you favor, the doctor say, I thought we was just shrinking the mass, but the mass ain't even there no more. Y'all ain't saying nothing. I said when God gets through, God starts giving us great victory to the point that whatever that thing is, you ain't ever got to worry about that thing no more. God ain't just sitting up high and looking down low. God is active in the struggle with us. God has not left us to deal with our problems without his presence. He's carrying us through the things that folk can't believe. He gonna fix stuff that folk can't believe. He can revive the addict that professionals said was a lost cause. He can put strength in your body where the enemy has thought you were weak. He can give you victory in a place where the enemy thought you weren't going to recover. He can fix a marriage that the marriage counselor said to give up on. He can do something for the children that youth advisors say there's no hope for. Because when God is with us and we have a winning mentality, we begin to recognize that we've already won. So I want to encourage somebody to have a winning mentality. I want you to be happy today on purpose. I want you to smile today on purpose. As a matter of fact, somebody stole all 32. Just start laughing at the devil. Ha ha ha. You thought you had me, but I got away. Y'all ain't saying nothing. I know you got some struggle, but somebody just smile anyway. You make it your business to smile today. I want you to smile on purpose. I want you to have peace on purpose. Don't let the enemy steal your joy. I want you to holler out that joy. Out of all I've been through, I still got joy. I need somebody to open your mouth and say it's been a struggle, but I'm still gonna smile. I go through some stuff, but I'm still gonna smile. I know you've been attacked. I know you've been hurt, and I know you feel like you're all by yourself. But the Bible assures us that God is the one who's gonna give us a great victory. I need you to believe that if it's your winning season. Somebody do me a favor and shout out loud, it's my winning season. For somebody listening to me, you may feel defeated in certain areas of your life. It may seem like you can't get a handle on everything going on. But if you look at your life real close, can I ask you a few questions? Ain't God making a way for you? If you look at your life real close, the stuff you thought you couldn't handle, ain't you still in your right mind? Somebody shout, it's my winning season. You got reasonable health and strength. You got no money. It's your winning season. Even though it's a struggle, even though the job environment is stressful sometimes, even though your body gets sick sometimes, I wish somebody would declare, it's my winning season. As a matter of fact, somebody point over your hand and say, there's a winner over here. Y'all ain't saying nothing. It's my winning season. Somebody needs to know that we already won because of the power of the Holy Spirit. Because Jesus has already won it all for us. When he died out on Calvary, they whipped him, but he still won. They pierced him in his side, but he still won. They put a crown of thorns around his head, but he still had a winning mentality. They buried him in a borrowed tomb, but he still had a winning mentality because he already knew that early on the third day morning he was going to get up with all power of heaven and earth in his hand. I got to ask somebody a question now. Do you believe it's your winning season? Despite all your problems, somebody shout, it's my winning season. No matter what's going on, it's my winning season. I hear God saying, you've been down too long, you've been weary too long. Lift your hands and say, I'm a winner. I got a winning mentality. God gonna make a way out of no way. God gonna fix it the way he wanna fix it. Somebody open your mouth and say, it is my winning season. I ain't gonna worry, I ain't gonna stress. It's my winning season. Somebody better know that God ain't gonna let you lose. Get ready for a major breakthrough. Get ready. God, get ready to unleash some more victory in your life. Do you have a winning mentality? Do you believe that everything gonna be all right? Look at somebody and say, when I look at you, I see a winner. When I look at you, I see somebody that God done brought through some tough situation. I realize that it get rough sometimes. I realize that it got tough on you sometimes. But when I look at you, I can't help but see the hand of God. His failure brought you from a mighty long way. Somebody shout, it is my winning season. It's my time. I got victory over everything that the enemy trying to throw at me. Anybody believe it's your winning season? Somebody shout victory over sickness. Shout victory over stress. Shout victory over depression. Shout victory over despair. Shout victory over sadness. Shout victory over loneliness. Shout victory over low self-esteem. Shout victory over the stuff in my house. Shout victory over the stuff in my marriage. Shout victory over debt and poverty. Shout victory over mental abuse. Shout victory over child abuse. Shout victory in the name of Jesus. Would you do me one more favor? And I'm going to leave y'all alone. Open your mouth and say, it is my winning season. Do you have a winning mentality? Do you believe that you get ready to experience undeniable increase? Somebody say, I see favor coming my way. I see hope for tomorrow. I see victory over all things. It is my winning season. Somebody got ready to give up, but today God gonna stop you from giving up because He said, if you got a winning mentality, you can shout out loud that this is my winning season. In the middle of the storm, it's my winning season. In the middle of the struggle, it's my winning season. God release prosperity path. God release good things from me. God release increase in favor. I know I got to struggle, but it's my winning season. Watch me thrive. Watch me survive. It's my time now. Somebody shall do it, God. Open your mouth and say, I'm ready to win, God. Somebody open your mouth and say, ain't no quit in me. I gotta win. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Somebody just walk around and say, I gotta win. I gotta win, devil. I gotta win. I gotta win. I gotta win because God's with me. I can't lose. Y'all ain't saying nothing. I gotta beat this. I gotta overcome this. My family depending on me. I gotta beat this. I gotta overcome this. I gotta survive it. I gotta thrive past it. I know that my God is able. Praise Him like you're a winner. Praise Him like you're already coming out. Praise Him like your children all right. Praise Him like your health all right. Praise Him like it's already done. Praise like you know you're a winner. Praise. Open your mouth and shout it out. 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 Open your mouth and say, yeah, I'm a winner. Say, yeah, it's my winning season. Say, yeah. Say yeah. Now shout like you're a winner. I said scream like you're winning. I said scream like you're winning. I said open your mouth in the face of your problem and say I got a winning mentality. I ain't gonna let this stuff get me down. I ain't gonna let this stuff wear me. I ain't gonna let this stuff defeat me. I need you to touch somebody and say, get yourself up and walk in victory. I need you to touch somebody and say, you're a winner. You better act like you already won. I got a winning mentality. Y'all can laugh if you want to. Y'all can criticize if you want to. But I got a winning mentality. I got it. Somebody open your mouth and say, I got it. Oh, good.